You've no doubt clicked on this video because of the thumbnail. It's a very tempting question, isn't it? Well, I don't want to be a tease, so I'll go ahead and answer it for you now. Are Fright Night and Friday the 13th the scariest PC games of all time? Oh, absolutely not. No, not at all. Nope, very much 100% not. Oh, I had such high hopes for this idea. Oh well. One way I like to unwind just before bed is browsing gaming stuff on Wikipedia, and lately I found myself scrolling through lists of the thousands of PC games that came out in the 80s on machines that I'm unfamiliar with. That's how I ended up here. While scrolling through games for the Commodore Amiga, I discovered Fright Night, an Amiga-exclusive 1988 game based on the cult favorite 1985 horror comedy about a teenager who thinks his new neighbor is a vampire. When no one will believe him, he recruits the local horror TV host, washed-up actor Peter Vincent, to help him defeat the suburban bloodsucker. Fright Night, the computer game, is barely about that. You instead play as the villain, Jerry Dandridge, and you're tired of all these people breaking into your house to murder you, so you murder them first. Over the course of an evening, you roam the halls looking for intruders to suck dry. Once they're all vanquished, you need to return to your coffin bed before the sun comes up. Your health is constantly draining, and so you need fresh blood to survive. On Monday, day 1, you have 2 victims to contend with, and that's that. They hurl crucifixes and holy water at you, but you'll be fine. It's a very simple level. Tuesday rolls around and someone has built more rooms and floors onto your house while you slept. There are now multiple intruders, including ghosts and subterranean zombie hands to contend with, those latter two being an invention of the game since no such monsters appear in the film. You've got a jump and a duck move at your disposal, and those are your only defenses. Neither move feels good, and both are quite ineffective. So enjoy most of your health instantly being wiped away from the ghosts and the hands. You can return to your coffin to refill some of your health during the night, but then you'll immediately encounter the ghosts and hands again, and long story short, good effing luck surviving Tuesday. That's the gameplay here, and if you're some kind of savant and make it through the week, the loop just resets. Needless to say, it all kinda sucks. I do, however, want to attempt some positivity here and say that it all looks very nice, as it should since it's on the Amiga, which was considered a graphics beast. The characters are huge, and the backgrounds of your house are intricately decorated. So much so that I wish this had been a different kind of game, where instead you interact with all this crazy stuff in your house. The room with your chemistry set in it, for example, has a painting on the wall of a vampire getting staked. That seems inappropriate. Your job should be to relocate that painting. A kind of make the perfect home for your digital vampire friend thing. Deal with intruders, but also polish those cool looking things on your staircases for maximum spookiness. Also, the way you can kind of make your guy do the thriller dance is good for a chuckle. But overall, Fright Night on the Amiga is barely a game. Very disappointing. Now, the Friday the 13th movies, you know what these are. Teens get killed at a summer camp either by an old lady or her son or that kid's adult spirit or whatever. Dude in a hockey mask. Sometimes there's a boat. You might be thinking this is the computer game version of the LJN classic for the NES. No sir, this hot banger from Domark is nothing like the Purple Jason experience. In fact, it's nothing like Friday the 13th at all. I would imagine this probably started life as some other game, and then the Friday the 13th license got slapped onto it. I say that because aside for some brief story text and a slowly evolving image of Jason's mask on the status screen, none of this stuff feels like it comes from the movies. There's a church in the game, for example, along with churchy music and religious iconography. Hell, one of the items you can pick up is a cross, which renders you immune to Jason's attacks. That's not a thing. Jason appears to dress in all black, including a sexy half shirt so everyone can admire his abs. Also, he has the ability to appear as other characters in the game. He can literally be other people until deciding not to be, when he reverts to his actual form as a member of the Cobra Kai dojo, apparently. None of this is a thing from the movies. In fact, there are no real camp elements to this at all. There's a barn, sure, that's something from one of the films, but the rest of the screens are either the church, or a graveyard behind the church, or a random field. There might be a cabin, which is a goddamn palatial estate on the inside, and a couple of archery targets, but again, none of it feels very camp-like. Also unfamiliar is the game's soundtrack, which features hot Friday the 13th jams like In the Hall of the Mountain King, and Teddy Bear Picnic. In the bottom right corner of the screen, you'll see avatars of you and your friends, all of whom are just aimlessly wandering around this whole area. When Jason kills one of them, there's the sound of a woman shrieking, and then their avatar is replaced by a tombstone. Sometimes you'll stumble upon their corpse. Other times, when someone gets killed, the screen will cut to a portrait of someone taking a machete to the head. Spooky! Also, there are weapons lying around everywhere, and you will need one of these to defeat Jason, which you do by finding Jason and trying to time your button presses to where you're just striking him instead of dropping your weapon entirely. As there's only one button, good luck getting that timing down. Now, I'd never played this before, but managed to end Jason on my second attempt, at which point you'll become a different person at the camp and the game starts over. I played through this via the Amstrad CPC version, which is a device I don't think I've ever seen, ever. There's also a Commodore 64 version, which just doesn't look nearly as good as this one did, and a ZX Spectrum version, which, I know you people love your ZX Spectrum, but holy Christ, look at this thing. It's terrible. The main bit of amusement I got here is from the introductory text, which explains that while you're unpacking, you discover a hockey mask. That seems to imply that you're Jason, right? The way that's worded doesn't make any sense otherwise. Nitpicky, whatever, let me have my fun where I can find it. Also, I don't know why the phrase filthy grotto has stuck with me, but if I ever start a rap career, that's gonna be my stage name. Friday the 13th, the computer game, is dull, lifeless, and just plain weird. That weirdness is its only redeeming quality, because it makes my job easier pointing out all the things that don't line up with the Friday the 13th universe. It's slightly more involved than Fright Night, but not by much, and certainly not enough to be interesting or fun. So there you go. There's your look at the two least scariest computer horror games of all time, neither of which I recommend, obviously. Can you name a scarier computer game? Let me know in the comments and maybe I'll go see if you're right. Thanks as always for watching, everyone, and until next time, let's play some games.